maybe, how many people in here are columnists who to do a little, 1, 2, 3, okay, a fair amount. If you're a columnist and you're already, how many people here are blogging their columns? A few, okay. I think that the next, it's not my preference to get my daily news content via video. And I say that having been a television newscast producer for years and years and years. I'm not today's target demographic. And so just because you and your friends don't necessarily get your content via a video, doesn't mean that when we, even in journalism classes, and we ask people to raise their hands in journalism classes where they're required to read the newspaper. We say, how many people read to the end of that story? We'll be critiquing a story. How many people read all the way to the end of the story? Even if it's their friend who wrote the story, our students today aren't necessarily reading as much, and they're not ignorant. They're getting a lot of news. They're getting tons of news, but they're getting it in a multitude of different formats, and it's coming into them in different ways. And so I ask people, I say, would you prefer to click on a video or to read the text? And even my people who are going into journalism, I have larger and larger numbers of people who say, oh, I always go to the video first. I'll get to your question. I want to say one more point about that. So my point about that is, if you're a columnist or a blogger, it might be worth your time to attempt to capture your thoughts, and we'll talk about how you might do that, to capture your thoughts and present them yourself. Not just like my friend Stevie, the woman, the very first presenter that we saw here, which is the simplest form of getting video onto the web. There are people who want to actually click on a video. And if that's the simplest thing to do, and you can write your column and do the hard work of writing your column, writing it and telling it to the camera, there are a number of different ways that you can do that. Now, you had a question.
Yeah, let's say hypothetically you have a blog, and you want to incorporate some multimedia once or twice a month or something, okay? Just for variety's sake, things like that, and it's religion oriented. Where can you go to get pieces that are not have any copyright on them that you can just pull and put on your website?
Shoot them yourself.
Besides doing that.
I would say that most of the things that you see on YouTube and most of the things, the smart people these days are not putting copyright restrictions. They're actually making their links so that you can embed their links onto your page. There's a University of Missouri grad who was a photojournalist to begin with and is now set up his own company, and he does very high-end, high-quality audio slideshows, audio, video slideshows, multimedia, and his whole goal is to get people like you to embed his content on your page. And he has, I don't know the exact thing, but he makes it so that he has an image on his page. He doesn't say, no, don't use my image, it's copyrighted. He said, use my image, because every time you use my image, he makes it so that people know that it came from him, and he gets more revenue that gets directed back to his projects. And he goes around the country preaching this, share it with everyone. The more that you use my images, the more that you use my audio, and credit me, the better it is for me, the more eyeballs that it gets. So mediastorm.com, I think it is. Those are long-form journalistic pieces. I actually looked through MediaStorm to see if I could find any that were directly about faith. They weren't, but they're such fascinating stories. You could easily come up with a number of different subjects in there to write about for a blog. There's another place that I don't know if it makes it quite as easy to embed, but you can always find the source and contact that source directly and ask them about embedding on your blog. And that's a place called interactivenarratives.org. And that's just that started out as a university project. Now it's foundation funded, I believe, interactivenarratives.org. And it's a collection page of all kinds of different and interesting sort of online